On Saturday 27th of April, the Taliban and Iran conducted artillery shelling on the border of the Islamic Republic with Afghanistan. The reason for the conflict was over access to water. Iran's deputy police chief Qasim Rezai accused the Taliban of opening fire on Saturday morning on the border between Iran's Sistan Baluchistan province and Afghanistan's Nimruz province. Iranian casualties stand at 2 dead and 4 wounded, whilst Taliban casualties were recorded at 14 dead and 30 wounded. However, these figures do differ according to different media outlets. One of the leaders of the Taliban, Abdul Hamid Khorasani, warned in a video message that the group would fight against the Iranians with more passion than against American forces. Abdul Hamid Khorasani said that the Taliban are ready to conquer Iran if the Taliban leaders give the green light for jihad. However, it's also very important to note that Khorasani here does not hold official positions within the Taliban regime and does not express the point of view of Kabul. Tensions between Iran and Afghanistan have increased in recent months over the Taliban regime's failure to implement a water sharing agreement concluded in 1973. Iranian authorities claim that the Taliban is restricting the flow of water from the Helmand River to the arid eastern regions of Iran. Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi, during a visit to the border province, called on the Taliban to respect the agreement that provides for the sharing of water resources and the level of monitoring of the water. It's pretty tough out there. Drought has been a problem in Iran for about 30 years. Over the past decade, the situation has worsened. According to the Iranian Meteorological Organization, it says that 97% of the country's territory is now experiencing some level of drought. Unfortunately, on social media, radicals, mostly from the South Asian community, are spreading nonsense about the end times battle of the Taliban rising from the prophetic Khorosan region in order to make their way to Jerusalem and finally liberated, as per hadith texts written during the rise of the black flags of the Abbasid Empire, which took down the Umayyads. Hate to burst their bubble, a full-scale war is not likely between Iran and the Taliban. The Taliban aren't the black banners of the Abbasid Empire, and neither are the Iranians the Umayyads. They make their own weapons. These are merely local border conflicts. It could be that the CIA are behind this, pulling strings so the Taliban are used against Iran. That's plausible, as this will distract Iran's military cooperation with Russia in Ukraine. As you know folks, Iranian drones are being used in Ukraine, and if a war between the Iranians and the Taliban break out, those drones that Iranians are supplying out there in Ukraine will be recalled, rescheduled and used against the Taliban. It's also important to note that this isn't the first time the Iranians and the Taliban have had clashes. Even if the Taliban really had the intention to start a full-scale conflict against Iran, it's unlikely that the ruling regime in Afghanistan would have enough weapons to use against Iran. Don't forget, Iran fought a decade-long war against Saddam Hussein, who was supported by the Americans and NATO back then. And what happened? Iran won the war and Saddam retreated. From the independent Islamic Republic, we hope that the Iranians and the Taliban regime can come to some sort of agreement for the sake of peace. Otherwise, world powers are bound to take advantage of this situation further. Thanks for listening. Assalamu alaikum. Khush Ahmadid. Have a wonderful night.
Independent Islamic Republic.